Now let's work on the gold pieces and specifically the necklace. So we have the gold, which includes all of the gold pieces as well as the necklace here. So let's go ahead and go to our smart materials. And I'm just going to add this gold damaged. And I'm going to add it, actually add it underneath this layer. So that'll give a basic gold material type and color to the gold pieces. And now we can concentrate specifically on the necklace, because here we don't have any detail at all. So no model detail to work with. So we're going to be doing everything here in the texture. And so let's go to this layer 1, and I'm going to make sure that symmetry is turned on. And I'm also going to turn on lazy mouse, and let's decrease the distance a little bit. This will help us smooth out our strokes. And then in the brush, I'm going to go ahead and change my brush size down quite a bit. So maybe 0.5 or so. Let's try 0.6. That's probably good. And now for the strokes that I want to create, I want to actually create a height map. And so let's turn off color. I don't want to affect the color. I don't want to affect any of the material except for the height. And I'll change the height to something like 0.15 or 0.17, something like that. And we can test it out. So that's the height that we're working with here. And you can see it's being mirrored over to the other side. So what I want to do is simply create a pattern on this. So, and this is totally up to you. I'm going to do some sort of vertical lines. I'm also going to do some kind of lines that radiate out. But the first thing I want to do is just create the ring around this. And so I'm going to start here at one of these corners and kind of come along the edge, turn the corner, and then kind of come down here and go all the way across, and we can come this direction. Our height is set, so we don't have to worry about overlapping or adding to the height at all, as we might in ZBrush. And so we've got that rim sort of laid out. Let's also do one in the middle. And well, since we're working symmetrically, I'll just kind of come down from the center, and then we'll come down the side. And you could be a little bit more careful if you want. And then I'll come in from the middle. So something like that. Now I want to have kind of a central jewel in here. And so I'm going to change the alpha from my brush. So I'm going to come in to the alpha, and let's choose, I'm going to type out oval, and I want to get this sort of oval shape here. Now, if we look at this and we increase the size here, you can see the oval shape. And so I want to just increase the size a little bit. Let's angle it a bit. And so something like that. Now we can also come in here and angle this by using Control and the left mouse button. And then we could drop a single instance of that in. And then let's do the same thing on the front. I'm going to rotate it a little bit so it's kind of in the center. And I want to make this one, the one in the middle, a little bit bigger. So maybe something like that. Okay. Now let's jump back to our normal alpha. And it's going to be shape. Grab this one right here. And again, we want it to be a little bit harder. Something more like that. And then we can decide how we want to, what kind of pattern we want to create. For the middle part, I'm going to actually make kind of a radiating pattern. And I've got the height still set the same. So I'm going to radiate out to the ends, out to the side there, out to the side here, and then like so, and then maybe one more down here. So something like that. And then here, let's do maybe a vertical one coming down like that. And then let's do another vertical here, and then one here. Okay, so something along those lines. Now let's give ourselves a little bit of a blur here. So I'm going to add a filter. We'll make that a blur filter. And you can dial that in a little bit. We don't want to blur it too much, but give ourselves a little bit of a softness to it. All right. Now I want to add a sort of maybe a jewel or something here. And so let's go back in and I'm going to create actually a new layer. In this one, I'm going to go back and get that same alpha. So let's get the oval back. And this time, I am not going to change just the height. Let's get it up here and let's get it the right size. I'm going to move the lighting a little bit. Okay, so let's get it the kind of right size here. I'll rotate it a little bit just so it fits kind of in the middle there. So something like that. And now I want to paint in a color. So we'll choose color, height, roughness, metallic. And so the base color, I'm going to make kind of a turquoise, maybe something like that. The height I'll increase a little bit from where it was. Okay. The roughness, let's take the roughness up so it's not as shiny. And we'll leave the metallic. So let's test and see what that looks like. So we're going to place this kind of one instance of it right here. Okay. And I want to increase the hardness of it. So we'll go all the way. Let's decrease the size a bit, rotate it, and we'll place it right in the middle there. Something like that. And then let's do another one right here. Rotate it, place it in the center, kind of like that. And then if you want to, let's go back and kind of reset our brush. We'll get a black color. This time we'll take the height down below the midpoint. And let's turn off, we'll leave the roughness where it is. Let's go back and get our round brush. Let's give it some hardness. And we're going to really decrease the size here. And now we're going to come in and I'm just going to drop in some writing in here. And so let's actually make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to create a new paint layer. And let's turn off our lazy mouse. And I'm just going to make some sort of alien-like markings. If you want to make this Klingon or whatever alien language you want to make, Elvish, go right ahead. But I'm just going to make some markings that look sort of like they would fit the culture there of this creature. And then we'll do one here. And these are symmetrical. So something like that. Now, we don't want to just leave this clean like this. We want to kind of dirty things up a little bit. And so let's come in here to the gold damaged. And you can see that there is dirt in here that we can change. And so we can come in to the dirt. And right now it's being driven by the ambient occlusion. If we click on this, and we don't have, there's nothing there. And so there's not really anything for it to cling to or to use. And so let's go ahead and I'm just going to drop on this gold damaged. I'm going to go to smart masks. And so what I want to do is instead, I'll just use a fill layer on the top here. And let's make it the kind of dirt color. So kind of black over here. All right. And let's add a black mask. And then on this mask, we're just going to click add generator. And now the generator is empty. So we're going to come in here and now we're going to choose some kind of a mask. And so some kind of a generator. So I'm going to choose dirt and we'll click on that. And there you can see it's masking out based on this dirt. It's masking out this black color. And so now we can come in this dirt and we could choose, you know, the dirt level. If it's super dirty versus super clean. I think I want to make it a little dirty. Okay. And you can change like the grunge amount like that. And then in addition, we could come in here and we could add to this mask. We could say, okay, I want to add paint to this. And so now if there are areas we really want to have dirt, let's come in and get a brush and let's choose a kind of a dirt looking brush. Maybe let's choose this dirt one. I'm going to take the size of it down a bit. So something like that. And now remember, the white areas are areas that are kind of revealing the dirt. And so let's go ahead and choose white. Okay. And so now I can come in these low areas and say, you know what, I want to manually place where the dirt is. And I know that it would collect more in these lower areas. So I'm going to paint in these lower areas. And so you can manually add to what these generators are producing if it's not giving you what you want. Okay, and so we can come in here and kind of darken some of these areas up. Alternatively, we could come in here and if there are areas that we want to remove dirt from, we can kind of just change to the black and mask out the dirt in the areas that are maybe up at the top. And so even though you have a lot of procedural methods of creating things, you still have manual control by going in and just adding paint to this. So in generating this mask, it's coming from the dirt generator, but also from our manual painting. It's blending together to create that mask that's showing this particular color. So if I'd go to that color and change it now, you could see, oh, all the dirt's red now. And so it's really nice and flexible way to work. You can change the color of the dirt, and everything's kind of procedural and stacked up to where, you know, you could turn off the painting that you did and just see the generation of the dirt and so forth. All right. So get to a point, something like that. And then in the next lesson, we'll go ahead and start to finish out the rest of the model by working on the wood. So the cowl piece and the belts and the hip pieces. And there's some really great wood materials in here that we'll look at and finish up our model so that we can get these textures output and bring them back to Maya so we can create a nice render. So we'll do that next.